Cool. So, welcome everyone to this short but hopefully insightful expert session about the future of brick and mortar and the people working in them. We have two renowned experts on the topic with us today. Alex Sbardella from GDR Creative Intelligence and Angela Gallenz from H&M. And I'm going to let you guys quickly introduce yourself to the rest of the people watching.
Yeah, okay, then I will start. My name is, like you said, Angela Gallenz. I'm HR manager in Germany for H&M, and I'm now for 25 years in the company, and this will mean, of course, I have small experience, but also I've gone through a lot of changes concerning retail, and I think we are now in a huge change, not only in retail, but in a lot of industry and companies, and so it will be interesting to have a discussion with you.
Cool. Alex?
Yeah, hi, so I'm Alex. I work for a consultancy called GDR Creative Intelligence, and we specialize in best practice and strategy for retail, brands, and hospitality, helping anywhere between 20 and 30 of the world's biggest brands look at the future of the physical space, the future of technology, the future of the customer relationship, and how they need to adapt to this kind of brave new world.
Cool. And as you said, Gela, there's no doubt that the retail sectors, like so many other industries right now, is undergoing a huge transformation and that the industry will look very different in 10 years from now. So we here at the Do School launched this initiative a few weeks ago to explore what it actually might look like in the future and do what we can do to inspire and empower people working in retail to lead with purpose so that the industry can develop in a way that is beneficial to our economy, our society, and our planet as a whole. And the topic of brick and mortar, so the brick and mortar has been sort of the backbone of retail since hundreds of years, obviously. But with the rise of e-commerce and digitalization, we do more and more of our shopping online, obviously. Which means that the role of the physical store is kind of changing. So I would like to start the discussion to basically ask, is the physical store on its way out, or what do you guys think?
No, really definitely no, but there is a lot of change. I think there are huge discussions already concerning the future store and of course what is the future of the physical store. I think first of all it's changing from location, a physical location, to an experience. The customer wants experience, wants relationship to a store, and I think this is also the benefit in the future concerning physical stores. Also to be a part of a community, to meet people, to contact with people, to get into physical contact, and I think there is the future of the store, and there's the future of the retail in smaller cities and also in big cities, because as you all know, people, they are searching more and more the real thing and also the real communities, and I think therefore the store has a really great future, but there are a lot of changes necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd absolutely echo that. I mean, in no way is the physical store going to disappear entirely. I think we're definitely going to have less retail space, and I think the retail space that we have will be better quality. And I also think we're going to see a much tighter integration between kind of online and offline and what is digital, what is physical. You know, most customers are already don't make that distinction. So I think retailers just need to catch up with where their customers are. And I think if we look at the sort of the bigger picture in terms of what retail's role is in the community, in the economy, I mean, retail is still probably the largest employer in every EU country near enough. So I think we need to see a kind of a better role for retail in terms of, for the best part of 2,000 years, we've been building towns pretty much exclusively with retail at the center. And now we're kind of realizing that actually maybe we don't need retail to be the heart and soul of every town, and we can actually use this opportunity to come up with something a bit more suited to the local community, suited to the local area, you know, not just having the exact same retail experience in every single town throughout the country that's all identical. You know, we kind of have a really good opportunity now to slightly rethink the mix between retail and accommodation and services and, you know, parkland and hospitals and schools and libraries and all those good things that at the moment, you know, commercially haven't necessarily had the same impact. So I think that there's a really kind of, we've obviously been through a lot of pain, but we're in an opportunity now where we've all kind of got this impetus to change as an industry and as a community.
Yeah, I think this topic is super important, interesting how the city is. I mean, I think I read a study that says like 40% of the city center in UK is retail space, which is a huge part of the city centers. And if this is changing and like the retail, we know that the retail space part of it is still going to be there, but there's other things some parts is going to go away, and there's new opportunities for other things to develop. So how do you guys think the city will look different in 10 years from now?
I think it's more like you have said, Alex, it's more like building up communities. And of course, a retailer must be then more like a strong neighbor. And it's more about not, like you said, offline, online. It's more about bringing all together. And I think it's all about how to connect people. And of course, maybe like you said, there will be less retail. I think maybe it's another kind of retail. It's more community, more neighborhood, like you said, more local. And I think you can't draw a clear picture now, but these are the trends where it's going. And it's not anymore, okay, this is business and this is private, it's coming all together. And then what part do I play as a company in this community? And then it could be garments, it could be a cafe, it could be coming together and having an event with all my neighbors, and what part do I play there? I think it's more than, it's fluent now, really fluent, and so I think it's, and it must be a place where I'm feeling good, where I'm feeling also secure. I think in a world which the world is getting more and more insecure, communities, strong communities with the good feelings, they are, yes, of course, then the necessary, what you say, bring together to the individual.
Yeah, I mean, and just to kind of echo that point, I think in general what we're seeing is, you know, the majority of spaces now are not one thing or the other. Every space is essentially a multi-purpose space. You know, so if we look at hotels, and hotels have become restaurants and co-working spaces, and you know, we see a blending of kind of retail and hospitality and event space, and really, you know, the way that people interact with the built environment is changing to become much more about a kind of very fluid, very flexible proposition, because that's, you know, that's the way we're living our lives now. There's a much, like you said, there's a much kind of less delineation between what is work, what is play, what is public, what is private. So I think we kind of will need to see spaces adapt to that. I think we'll need to see retailers working together better. I think before they may have been in kind of all-out competition with each other. We now need to see them work more closely to build a sense of place, you know, and to build more of a community. And I think in terms of community in general, we've sort of seen retailers move away from trying to create their own communities to actually supporting communities that already exist in the, you know, in the local area or within their fan base. And I think it's a subtle distinction, but it's quite important, because it means that it's not just solely about increasing the amount of stuff that you sell anymore. You know, it's about trying to build something that's a bit more long lasting and a bit more beneficial to society.
Yeah, I think this whoever you speak with when it comes to the future of the store, brick and mortar, this topic of community comes up over and over again. So I think that's clear. And also you Gilly, you mentioned that it will be a different experience to go into the store. So if you can, do you have an idea of what that experience, not in terms, yes, okay, you mentioned event and such, but how will that experience be different? The store experience be different in the future?
I think the most important thing is that it's more personal. And also, it does not matter if you're a huge company or if you're a small retailer or a startup. I think for the single customer, it must be clear that it's personal. It's my store, where I'm really going in and feel confident, and maybe a colleague is knowing me and knowing my products of love, and I can find my coffee. I can go with friends there. And maybe on top, I'm really not only a customer, but I'm a part of a community. So I think this is really important, that I can feel it must be really personal, and I can really feel a purpose, and it's my purpose. It's not the purpose of the company, but it's my purpose, and I can take part. I can really not only be a customer, but also a part of this community. And this is also, I think, the challenge for the companies. How can this community look like? How can the customer not be only a customer, but a human being who is part of this community and really active part of the community?
Yeah. Yeah, Alex, so you have a little bit more of a digital technology background as well.
Yeah. So yeah.
How do you see that? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think the way that we talk about the physical store of the future is it needs to be a blend of convenience and experience. So it needs to combine, basically we say it needs to be fun when you want it to be and fast when you don't. And these spaces have to kind of, whereas before you may have had a format that was very, very convenient or very, very experiential, now you kind of need to thread the needle and have both. And we sort of see that's a combination of three elements. So that is design and kind of really nice, rich retail experiences, technology, and actually what we're seeing is technology is starting to slightly fade out. Whereas before, a few years ago, you'd stuff your stores with screens and iPads and kind of make a really big statement. Actually, we're starting to see some of it rescind back into the background. And then finally, people. I think it's really important to remember that one of the main things that differentiates an in-store experience from an online experience is people. And retailers in the past have traditionally sort of used technology to reduce headcount, to get rid of people, to automate things away. And hopefully what that means is now we have an opportunity to kind of remove a lot of the low value tasks that we were, people inside stores and maybe Angela, better than me, those kind of low value repetitive tasks can be automated away. And hopefully that frees up the people to do more high value service, higher touch, more personal experiences for the customers, and to be honest, to make retail a slightly more rewarding job, and actually make it a higher value. I mean, the problem retail has is that a lot of people see it as a job, not a career. It has a lot of churn. So hopefully we've kind of got the opportunity to make it more of an experience for the customer, but also for the employee as well. And I think that's a really important thing that we need to focus on as we go forward.
Yeah, this is super curious to hear what you think about this, Angela, because you're the HR manager for H&M, one of the bigger retailer in the world, I would guess. And so how are H&M thinking about developing its staff to fit this new store and experience? What sort of skills will the future employee need that works in a store?
I think it's exactly what Alex said. It's that the relationship from customer to colleague is so important, and it's more fluent. So it's really to work together, and also to build relationships between people, and to be open-minded, to want to be connected to our customer, to want also to serve, really to be a good, to give a good customer service. So, and like you said, the world is getting more and more digital, and automatization is a huge topic, but I think the relationship, so the skills to be open-minded, to communicate in a good way, to listen to the customer, what does the customer want, to give a good service, so this will be the skills, and it's a lot of people skills. A lot of soft skills, so we are talking less and less about tasks. So this must be done, this must be, and it's more to be. Yeah. Of course, you have a lot to do, but more and more it's how can we be good neighbors in cities? How can we be good colleagues? How can we give good customer service? So I think these are the skills of the future. So it's, and then of course I think this will be a lot more attractive to a lot of people in the future. So I think it's really a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds like a job that I would enjoy. Okay, believe it or not, but that kind of sums it up, a little short but insightful discussion here. That's 15 minutes. Do you guys have anything that you want to add as a last insight or tips or recommendation or anything before we round off?
I think I'd say, you know, in terms of the whole idea of kind of purposeful retail, I think the message we'd quite like to get out there is hopefully that it doesn't have to be, you know, you do your purposeful stuff and you do your stuff that makes money, and those are two opposite ends for each other. Hopefully we can find a way where actually we can be better as retailers, but also be better for society and still make lots of money, and that'll keep everyone happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank both of you. And yeah, that was it. This will go online, and have a lovely rest of the day, eh?
Great, yeah, thank you.
You too, thank you very much. Thank you, Alex. Bye-bye.
Thank you, yeah, nice to meet you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.